Hey, so, it's not unusual for a person with a seizure disorder, particularly an epileptic type seizure disorder, but I suppose it would definitely maybe apply also to pseudo seizures, potentially. Um, it's not unusual for them to receive a denial, even after an ALJ hearing, on the basis that sometimes it'll be said that there was no medical professional that witnessed it, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, when you're having a seizure, you're not exactly holding off on having it till you're in front of the doctor, right? It happens when it happens. They've also pointed to or tried to point to testimony that a parent or a family member witnessed it. And it has been, some decision makers have disregarded a statement from a concerned third party, that would be a family member or a friend, saying that they're not disinterested, and they would tend to just potentially side with the contentions of the claimant because it's their loved one and they have affection, which is true. But then again, seizures, we don't typically drag ourselves out on Main Street to be witnessed by a bunch of disinterested strangers, right? They happen when they happen. And if we happen to be a person who stays home a lot, whether it's because of the seizure disorder or a bunch of other disorders we also have, generally they're going to be happening at home. That's just the way it is. We stay at home when we're disabled. So here is what we are thinking. And there is some case law to support this. It's always going to be an uphill battle, and you have to have your diagnoses officially from a medical provider, whether it's pseudo seizures, somatic, or epileptic nature, or other. So that's a given. So you have to always be treating robustly with a specialist for that, a neurologist, sometimes it's a psychiatrist, but let's assume it's epileptic neurology, epilepsy specialist. But that may not do the trick either, because again, he's not going to have witnessed it. So what we are seeing could be helpful and may not be utterly disregarded by an ALJ or a decision maker. If you hopefully live with others, if they can keep a seizure journal, documenting when, how long, what kind, describing you, and that will be a way to help confirm the frequency. If you have 5 a day and you've got no proof besides your own statement that you had 5, it's not going to be helpful. But if you have a diligent, reliable person at home who can do that, or if you are alone, you can do it also if you're aware of them. I know when we're sleeping, we may not be aware, but it would be probably helpful if the person who is witnessing it, maybe who stays home mostly with you, can keep that journal: frequency, duration, were you conscious, were you not conscious, were you were body limbs flailing, anything going on with the face or the mouth, were you confused when you woke up, did you have to sleep afterwards, again, all those kind of details. And you can kind of list what are your typical details and then describe each time if they occurred that time or not. But that could be very good evidence to support a diagnosis and support how frequent they are, since a doctor is not going to be able to say that he witnessed them. Okay, so keep that in mind. I don't want to see any seizure people calling me who are not already doing this. Okay, so let's get that ball rolling, and keep that detailed journal, again, preferably with someone who can actually watch you while you're having your seizures, and is overlooking your safety, because you can't actually watch yourself when you're in the middle of one, presumably. So that would be a much better, more detailed, and I'm not saying they have to write a book for each one. Literally, it could be like check boxes, like, for the things that you frequently have, which ones were occurring at the time, frequency, 30 seconds or a minute and a half, time of day, that kind of thing. But it'll be so helpful. So I want to see you do that. Okay. All right. Good luck. Bye now.